Where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Flying guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
Good morning to the last day of the regular season. What's going on, Tone?
Man, oh man.
We made it.
We made it. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought
this season would have went the way it did? Right? I mean, it flew by. Let's just call it what it is.
It did.
I feel like just not too long ago we were discussing what was happening in the first 4 weeks. You know, and look, I got to commend everybody, you know, the fans, the supporters of the show, you, the other content creators. I got to commend all of you for just having that endurance for staying committed to the mission. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this content creation game is no joke. Showing up week after week, multiple times a week. You know, you guys as viewers showing up every single time we go live. You know, every time we drop any piece of content, man, you guys are awesome. Markus, you're awesome. The other content creators, you guys, we're here. We're here. Hey, listen, Tone Chosen said it. We're here. Let's finish the job, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's set. You know, there's still some things that still is uncertain, you know, as it pertains to seeding, right? But I'm just excited and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I get to be here with you guys. I'm grateful I get to be here with you, my man, to talk Eagles football still. And we're going to have some more Eagles football to talk in the coming weeks. So let's get into it.
Yes, sir, man. We are at the end game now.
For sure.
We are at the end game. This is all of that talk and all of that rhetoric in camp. This is what it all comes down to. This is the ultimate opportunity because everybody's not here.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody scared of nobody. I saw that game against Chicago with San Fran and Chicago, and I was like, San Francisco looks like they are playing the best ball in the league right now. No. After that game last night, I was like, Seattle put the beads on their behind. And you know what? That made me feel really good watching that game last night. Because I was like, you know what? I don't feel so bad about our offensive performance and what our defense did after watching that game. After watching Seattle just stifle and bottle up CMC and Purdy and Kittles and just do what they had to do to get that dub. Because ultimately, we forget that so easily. It's all about the dubs. It doesn't matter. San Francisco had the opportunity to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Super Bowl is in their backyard. They would not have had to get on a plane if they would have won that game last night, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. Seattle dropped the beads on them. Their defense was in their grill. And that just goes to show, we've talked about it before, there is no team, the Eagles included, there is no team that is head and shoulders above everybody else. Everybody got an opportunity. Everybody has an opportunity. It is going to come down to which team can get their shit together the quickest and start operating and executing on that field in the playoffs better than anybody else. To me, it is not about who has the better team, who has the better roster, all of that kind of stuff. Because everybody got good players. If you hear, you're doing something. But for whatever reason, the teams are not putting it together. The teams are not closing folks out. And we are in that boat too. And to me, whichever team gets their stuff together the quickest is going to take it to the house.
You guys are tuned into the Bald Eagles podcast. He's Markus Thomas. I'm Tony DeShields II, man. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels. We're live on 2 channels. We're live on Pro Fan Talk, and we're also live on Chalk It Up Sports. So make sure you guys lock in. Make sure you guys stay engaged. Kick your feet up. Make sure you guys got your game day eateries all locked and loaded. You know what I mean? You don't want to be running no errands on game day. You want to make sure the food is already on its way. You want to make sure the food is already on the heater. You feel what I'm saying? So, Marcus, you're right. This is a very interesting year in football because I firmly believe anybody can get got.
Yeah.
Anybody. And because of that, I think defense is going to rule the day.
Defense wins championships.
It's going to rule the day this go around. I really, really do. And I think games in the playoffs are going to look more like what we've seen from the Eagles all year versus, those anomalies, those shoot 'em ups, those shootouts.
Yep.
I think we're going to see more of that style of football. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes. I'm not saying quarterbacks aren't going to have good games. I'm not saying teams are going to try to put their best foot forward. But what I'm trying to say is, Eagles fans, what you've seen from the Eagles, although it's been dismaying, it's been something that's made you uncomfortable, in particular from an offensive perspective. What we've seen consistently is that this defense has gotten better and better and better,
yes,
and better and better and better, no matter who they play. And they've made some of the best quarterbacks, some of the hottest quarterbacks when we faced them, made them look average or below average, made them look human. Right? When we faced Detroit, Jared Goff and those Lions, they was on a heater. When we faced Green Bay, they were on a heater. Right? When we faced the Rams, right, early in the season, but everybody was waxing poetic about the Rams and what they're going to be able to do and so on and so forth. When we faced the Bills, they were on a heater. This Eagles team, they have the experience, they have the pedigree, they have the talent.
Yep.
And honestly, as bad as I feel about Kevin Patullo most days, and I do feel bad about him. Not bad. I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad about him. I think they got the coaching. Nick Sirianni's been there. Vic Fangio's been there. I think Vic Fangio's presence is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a very big deal. That's not me trying to absolve anybody of their flaws. But I trust the people who've done it. You got the quarterback who has the poise, knows how to play at the frequency that's required for the playoffs. And regardless of how you feel about the Eagles offense, with that defense playing the way they playing, and the talent that they have on offense, and the talent that they have on offense, I don't care who you are, you still gotta play them honest.
Yep,
you gotta play them honest. Game, man. You got a game plan for AJ Brown. You got a game plan for Jay Hurts. You got a game plan for Devontae Smith. You got a game plan for Saquon Barkley. Right? Shoot, the offense hasn't been playing their best, but when they're on, they're on. And that's what they don't want. So again, they are a team that, regardless of how you feel about them, regardless of what you see on paper, you got to play them honest. And with that defense playing the way they playing, they're going to be in every game. So you better pray that offense don't figure it out. You better pray if you're the opponent.
And they have to, because we've had many conversations about, like, when I say player execution failure.
Mm-hmm.
And there was I know Kevin Patullo was the low-hanging fruit for the offense. And rightfully so in some of those games. In my opinion, not most of those games. But that last game we just played, that one I got a stack on Kevin Patullo. because to me, it looked like he just didn't. It got to a point where he couldn't figure out what he wanted to call, and some of those calls and some of those, the down the distance and all, like it just like couldn't get it together. And this is something that they have to do. They must do. They don't even have to be a great offense. They just need to be good and adequate. That's it. That's it. Keep the defense off the field for a good measure of time, at least once or twice. Get a couple drives together. Also, we got to put 21 points on the board. At least we have to at least be able to do that. But to your point, the defense is so far and away above everything else. They saving our bacon, man. They paying their half of the rent, and we not. And is it unfair to ask that of the defense every daggone game?
Yes, it is. But
Very much so.
But
so
look, the gig is the gig.
The gig is the gig. The gig is the gig. Hugh Douglas said that. He said that's the task. You don't ask for it. When you pull the top off of it, it is you get what you get, and you got to deal with it. The task is the task. So, the pressure in this playoff scenario this year is strictly on the offense. Strictly on the offense. The offense have to put. I need the offense to put a series of 4 games together. That's all they got to do.
Yeah.
Because I can't wait for next week where I can compile my passing yards list for all of them quarterbacks that's at home. I can't wait, because it don't matter. The only thing that matters after today is what happens going forward. Nakobe Dean's gonna be back. Lane Johnson is gonna be back. And hopefully, I'm curious today if Brett Toth is gonna start at center today. And if he does, I want to see. I'm expecting Tank Bigsby to have a nice day. So we'll see what they're gonna do, and we're gonna see what we got.
Yeah. I think to your point about that, right? The Brett Toth angle is so interesting because we've been talking all year how Cam Jurgens has not been playing up to snuff. He hasn't really lived up to the task, right? And he made a Pro Bowl, and we've already spoken about that at length. But this team, this offensive line, many can argue that the root of their problems are there. Many can argue that, as much as we criticize Kevin Patullo, and rightfully so. Let's not get it twisted, y'all. I'm on y'all side when it comes to Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo is somebody I do not trust. But many can argue, and many may be right. If you really watch what's going on, hard to sustain drives when you're constantly in second and long, third and long, when you can't win first down on a run play. You can't get 4 yards, 5 yards consistently on a run play. That's something the Eagles are used to doing. They're used to being able to get a minimum of 4 yards on a first down when it comes to the run play. And the run game hasn't been consistent this year. Now, granted, Saquon Barkley was able to thug it out to his 1,000 yards. He was able to thug it out. You know what I mean?
He damn sure did.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
He worked for it.
It wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. Let's call it what it is. I mean, for a guy coming off such a prolific season, and he still managed to crack over 1,000 yards, over 1,100 yards, on the ground. Still managed to crack. Make sure I got this right here. Still managed to crack 1,400 yards of total offense.
Yeah,
1,400 yards of total offense and 9 touchdowns. Not bad for a guy coming off of a 2,000-yard plus season.
Right.
All things considered, when the offensive line wasn't even playing well. Imagine if the offensive line was actually doing 70 to 80% of their job. Not even 100%.
Yeah.
70, 80%. He did this with the offensive line being awful all year long. So I'm really looking forward to getting Lane Johnson back at right tackle.
Yeah. It was like Saquon was back in New York.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they look like at full strength. I think Cam Jurgens can use the week off. And
absolutely.
Landon Dickerson, same thing. I think they all could use the week off in terms of the offensive line. When I think about it in hindsight, I've been on record saying, "Hey, I want these guys to play. Momentum is momentum, especially on offense. Y'all haven't earned it." And in my heart of hearts, I feel like, damn, like, y'all should really keep this shit rolling. In my heart of hearts, But we know how the
Yeah.
Eagles move. We know the Eagles don't play guys in the last game of the season if they don't have to, and they're not. So I'm not really going to.
And not for nothing, if you watched that game last night, if you watched that San Francisco game, Jokers just kept falling out. It was like they got even more injuries last night. So that is always ever present, and there's not really much you can do about it. But it just seems like that the closer you get to the playoffs, the injuries just pile up.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted them to play too, but I understand, and I think it was the right move.
Yeah.
To sit them down. And plus, I still think Tanner McKee and the boys are going to be Washington today. So then it comes down to Detroit. And I know Detroit is on the struggle bus, but the thing about Detroit, if any coach can get their team to have a pride day, like you playing for pride right now, and you want to go out last game of the year, you want to at least get a dub that last game of the year.
Against a divisional opponent at that.
Right. You can prevent something, you can take something away from them. So I know Dan Campbell's going to have them boys ready. So maybe Jahmyr Gibbs can just have his day because they bottled him up last week. So maybe it's time for him to go to work, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
I hope they handle their business, though. I hope they handle their business.
For sure.
That would really help.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let's briefly touch on these scenarios, right? The potential scenarios for the Birds. Obviously the Eagles play the Commanders today, and we're going to talk about that. But we all know the playoffs is on the horizon, and the number 2 seed is very much within reach for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, sir.
At worst, they're going to be the 3rd seed. So let's iron out some of these scenarios. So when it comes to the number 2 seed, if the Eagles win their matchup against the Commanders and the Bears lose to the Lions, which is something we're all hoping for, the Eagles would get the number 2 seed. The Bears would drop to the 3 seed. And that means that the number 2 seed, the Eagles, would be able to play a struggling and injured Packers team in the wild card round, something we're very familiar with. So that doesn't frighten me. And obviously the number 2 seed will also be guaranteed a home game in the division round if they get there. So the Bears loss is obviously the most ideal scenario. You still got to beat the Commanders though, which I think they will. Right. But the Bears losing is the most optimal situation you want for the Eagles. Now, when it comes to that Seahawks and 49ers game, right? It says the Eagles will play one of 3 teams in the wild card round in the playoffs. We already mentioned the Packers. It could be the Rams or it could be the 49ers. If the Niners beat the Seahawks, which they didn't, the Rams would be locked into the 6th seed, which means the Eagles would face them if they end up as the 3rd seed. If the Seahawks beat the 49ers, which they did, and the Rams beat the Cardinals, which we're still waiting to see, the Rams would be the 5 seed, which would mean the Eagles would avoid them. The 49ers would be the 6th seed. So 49ers lost, Seattle won. So at best, I think the Rams I believe the Rams beat the Cardinals today.
Oh yeah.
I do believe that, wholeheartedly. So there's a strong chance the Eagles don't even see the Rams in the first round. There's a strong chance of that. Not that it matters to me, but there's a strong chance that the Rams beat the Cardinals, which means the Eagles will likely see San Fran in the first round, if not the Packers. So I think if I rank them as far as likelihood, I think facing the Packers is the highest likelihood, then 49ers, and then Rams. I think that's the order of probability. Now, any one of those opponents, regardless, they got to come to Philly. So
that's the key. Now you're talking about
that's a big deal.
Talking about not necessarily the Packers, but even San Fran. You're talking about a West Coast team got to come to the East Coast. They were mentioning that last night on the telecast, just not having the physical taxation of traveling coast to coast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were playing for, and they couldn't get it done. So I'm with you. I would rather play the Packers. Also, the 49ers got, like I was saying earlier, the 49ers got beat up last night. Purdy got hurt again. He jacked up his thumb or his finger or something.
It was they said he had a shoulder stinger or something like that.
Yeah, and they lost a couple more guys on defense. So they are banged up, and they've been playing really well to have that many backups in the game. Testament to whoever's doing all of the drafting and putting the roster together, because they got some guys. When Fred Warner went down, they thought it was a wrap, and that kid
We all
came in.
did.
I forget what his name is. He doing work. He's doing work as a backup linebacker. So, but they're banged up. Packers are banged up. Jordan Love is not starting. Malik Willis is still probably going to start the first game of the playoffs, right? I would think.
That's a good question. That's a really, really good question. And if that's the case, light work.
Yeah.
I'm not even,
Well, I won't say that because you know how we do.
That's a very, very good point. That's a very good point.
You know how we do.
And then, I'm looking at the Rams here. They're on a 2-game losing streak. They lost to Seattle and they lost to Atlanta, both games on the road.
Right.
I mean, the Rams, for as many fireworks that offense can give you,
They have some duds too.
You lost to Seattle in overtime. Seattle's the number 1 seed, so I mean, okay, maybe not a terrible loss, but it's an important one. It's an important game. So you lost it. That's a big loss. Then you gave it up to Atlanta. Just laid an egg against Atlanta.
Yeah.
Why should I trust that team more than any other team in the playoffs, or just to bring it back home for us? Why should I trust the Rams more than the Eagles?
Right.
Why should I trust Seattle more than the Eagles? Yeah, they're the number 1 seed, but I know I believe Sam Darnold is more so what we saw in those final 2 games of that Viking season,
right,
than what they saw most of the year. And guess what? We're on track. You want to know why? They only put up 13 points against the 49ers.
I was about to say the same thing, bro. You're 100%. 100% right.
If the 49ers was able to muster any kind of offense, Seattle loses that game. So what I'm saying is Sam Darnold is showing you. He's showing you. He's on schedule to flop in that. He's on schedule to flop. He's on schedule.
Waiting for it last night.
He's on schedule. Now look, they're guaranteed a bye week.
Yeah.
So he gets a week to kind of flush that game. But did you know there hasn't been a number 1 seed to win the Super Bowl since the 2017-2018 Eagles?
Yeah.
That number 1 seed isn't what it's all cracked up to be.
No, it is not. The number 1 seed is not, and the first round bye week is not. Because there's a lot of teams that get that first round bye. They lose their momentum. They lose their rhythm. There's something to be said for playing every week and getting into that motion. When you break up any part of that rhythm, whether it's a game off or whatever the situation is, even it can be detrimental when you sitting at home on the couch when you should be playing. So there's if you resting everybody, and it all comes down to what they look like when they come back. And you never know what you're going to get. So there's always a risk in it. Everybody wants that first round bye, but it's still a risk. It's still a risk.
Listen, the NFL first round bye is slowly turning into the MLB first round bye.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. A lot of teams that first round bye. If you watch baseball, a lot of people, some teams, some fans feel like that first round layoff is overrated. In baseball is a pure rhythm game, pure rhythm.
Yeah,
and so a lot of fan bases don't even want their teams to get that number 1 seed because they want their team to stay. They want the bat to stay hot. They want their pitchers to stay loose.
Exactly.
They want all of that. So
they want all that. Stay in that rhythm.
Exactly. So
Stay
think about it from
rhythm.
an NFL perspective. I don't think it's a mystery or an accident that
muscle memory is a real thing, bro.
Yeah. And let me ask you a question. When did the league implement the one team? When did the league implement that one team is only able to have a bye per conference? When did that start?
I have no idea. I have no earthly idea.
Do you think did it start when they added the 17th game?
It would have had to, because it would have had to be like a scheduling issue. But it's, in my opinion, it's probably have some type of combination of scheduling and advertising.
Matter of fact, it was, I remember now, I think it was the year they added the additional playoff team, 7th playoff team,
That makes sense.
which was Jalen Hurts' first year starting. So it's 2021.
Okay.
So when you think about from that perspective, no team has won the Super Bowl that's the number 1 seed since they've added the extra game, since they've added, or since they've taken away a bye week or a second team to get a bye week. That bye week is overrated. It's overrated. So, look, man, second or third seed, it don't really matter to me. At the end of the day, I got the Eagles against anybody, man. There's
I
no
agree.
team. There's no team there's not a single team who's violated the Eagles that's in the playoffs right now. Maybe the Bears, they ran the ball on them, but the Eagles were in that game.
Yeah.
They were in that game. Like the Eagles only got blown out, I think, maybe once this year. And it was only when the game got out of hand, and that was against the Giants, I think.
Yep.
So like, it's just when you play the Eagles, you gotta play damn near perfect. You got to.
I keep going back to that Buffalo game, man, and I'm like, that was y'all MVP right there, and he still couldn't get it done. And y'all can say he beefed that last throw, and he did, but he beefed it because it was pressure in his face.
Pressure, and
he had to get rid of that ball. If he had another half a second to set his feet and rotate his hips a little bit better and get a better throw, that's a touchdown, and the game is over.
Pitch and catch. That's pitch
but he
and catch.
didn't. He didn't, and he couldn't, and he got what he got. And what do I say, Tone? Sometimes you don't have to make the play to make the play.
Facts. So sometimes you don't got to make the play to make the play.
And our defense has been doing that since last year in the Super Bowl. So let's just get through this game. No major injuries. I'm praying for a clean game, and we can get out of here, and then we can prepare for whoever we got to deal with next week in Philly.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to watch some playoff football. But today we do have Eagles versus Commanders. Tanner McKee gets the start. Now,
Tanner time.
Right. Be on the lookout for all those Tanner McKee prognosticators.
He should be starting. Sit Jalen Hurts down. Like, man.
Be on the lookout for them.
I'm looking for Tanner McKee to have a game. Because I do not see Howie keeping Tanner McKee for the last year of his contract. Now, if he balls out, he is going to be some serious trade bait. And I can see trades happening. Maybe we can pick up a tight end from somewhere, like a veteran that's plug and play. We ain't got to draft nobody. Or if we do draft a tight end, maybe we can get him later, like maybe a 3rd or 4th rounder or something like that. But we need to get a good tight end. We can't get no free agents. We need somebody that can, we need somebody that can block back on it. So yeah, it was. I think Tanner McKee is going to make himself some money, possibly in this game. So still got to play though. Still got to play. So
yeah, I feel you on that. They haven't quite released all who's going to be sitting and all who's going to be starting. We obviously know Hurts is not playing. I believe AJ, if I'm my educated guess, I don't think AJ is going to play. I think they should let Devontae play, man. Let him get those 50 yards, 60 yards. Sorry about that. Let him get those 15, 16 yards.
Bro, you playing blackjack, but you betting on double zeros, bro.
I know. I'm trying to get my man.
Let's go black and red, bro.
I'm trying to get my man his 1,000 yards, man.
I want to see him get his 1,000 yards, but man, I don't want to see that brother get broke up. Because
come on, man, it's Smitty, man. That man rap tight like copper wire, man. He cool.
He
cool. That man rap tight like copper wire. You feel me?
See, this is one of those things where the adults in the room gotta have the loudest voice. Because I'm with you. I want to see him get his 1,000 yards too. And I believe
what is it, 50 yards?
Something like I think it's like 44 or something.
44 yards. Come on, man. That's one catch. Bang.
But Tanner McKee can get him the ball.
He can get that in the first quarter. He can get that. He can get that 2 drives.
He could, but then it's my thing is everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows what they're trying to do. Everybody, because that's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And when people see that, I'm telling you, the mindset is you ain't getting that shit on me.
I'm just trying to get my man paid, bro.
I agree with you, but the mindset is the defense is over there like you ain't getting that shit on me. So that's when all of the extra come in, the heavy hits, and they picking up him like a sack of potatoes, man. And a lot of times he get tackled. It's not the initial hit. It's when they slam him to the ground.
Listen, man, that's rubber band, man. It bounced off him. It bounced off him.
I don't want to take.
We done seen Smitty take the hits of hits, and that boy pop up.
It better be out routes. It better be deep outs. So when he catch the ball, he going out of bounds.
He raised up like Lazarus. My man, like the Undertaker. You know what I mean?
It would take one slant across the middle for him to go deep. If they're gonna play him, give him take a couple shots at it and get him out of there. If he get it, he get it. If not,
that's all I'm saying. Let him get a drive or two. Let him get a couple bing binks. You know what I mean? Let him get a couple shots. That's all.
That's risky, man. That's risky, bro.
Just a couple of them. Just a couple of them. Just a couple.
I don't want no parts of Murphy nor his laws, bro.
Nah.
I don't want no parts of it. So the best thing to do is just take him out of the equation. As much as I hate to say it, because I want him to get that 1,000, but you gotta have a voice of reason in the room on that one, bro. We can't risk him. We can't risk Smitty.
I know, man. I know. Smitty is probably, in my opinion,
Smitty's untouchable, bro.
Smitty is like death in taxes. It's inevitable. He's that reliable. He's that reliable, man. So shout out to Smitty, man. I'm just trying to get you paid, man. I'm just trying to get you that extra little bonus on the check. That's all, man. That's all. I'm just trying to help you take your lady to a big ass suite in Dubai, man. On the arm. You feel me? That's all. not like he can afford it already. Let's not get it twisted. He can afford it already. He doing all right for us. So, but I'm just having fun with it, man. Let's keep it light, y'all. Relax. Let's keep it light. Some of y'all getting a little too excited, man. I'm just trying to get Smitty paid. That's all.
My God.
But again, though, I do think it's with everything this team has endured this year, I do think it's remarkable that guys were still able to hit like key benchmarks, right? For receivers or running backs, right? They always say the mark of a successful season is for a receiver, running back, just crack 1,000 yards. Crack 1,000 yards, and you're on par for, if you can average 1,000 yards every year your career, you're a Hall of Famer,
right?
Like Mike Evans. Mike Evans had seasons where he had 1,500 yards. He had seasons where he had 1,001 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and Mike Evans' for his career is averaging 1,000 yards a season. That's a Hall of Fame career. So, yeah, man. I know Smitty is much better than what his numbers indicate most of the time. And because he's a number 2, and I think Smitty is getting fantastic number 2 numbers, by the way. Fantastic number 2 numbers. And I think he could be a number 1 on any offense. So yeah, I just think it's dope that these guys were still able to do what they did, even when the offense has been struggling.
Yeah. They just need to get out there, do what they need to do. Let's get in, get out.
Yeah, for sure. So in this game, I mean, if you had to make an educated guess, who do you think your starting 11 is going to be on the defensive side of the ball?
I think Jihad's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jalen Carter's out. I don't even think Jalix, Nolan, Jalix Hunt, Nolan Phillips, Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith.
I think Jalen Phillips will be the backup today. He might get reps. BG doesn't need it, but BG might get reps. Then you got a Jomo. I don't know how they would. Ty Robinson.
Yes, we're going to see heavy Ty Robinson today, heavy Byron Young today. Heavy on
about Byron Young. Absolutely, Byron Young might have a game today.
Yeah, heavy on the Trotter Jr. and Smile Mondon. You're going to see Jacorian Bennett today.
Gorilla time.
You're not going to see Adoree Jackson because he's the OG. You're not going to see him. He's been battling injuries throughout the season. Be it a concussion or whatever it may be. So you're not going to see Adoree Jackson. You're not going to see Q. You're not going to see Quinyon. You're not going to see Coop. So that means you're going to see Michael Carter II.
Kelee Ringo.
You're going to see Jacorian Bennett. You're going to see hopefully anybody but Kelee Ringo.
Yeah.
Yo, it's a shame, bro. Let's revisit that real quick. Let's spend a little time on that real quick. Prior to the season, man, you and I had such high hopes for that young brother.
I did, man. I saw some things last year, and I was like, "This kid gonna be a player."
I had high hopes for him. I was waving the pom poms.
Not no, but hell no.
I was waving the pom poms, bro.
I was the last one to jump off that shit, bro.
Who you telling? I was right there with you. I was the
last one to jump off.
I was hanging on to your raft, like, wait, don't leave without me. I was one of the last people on that plane, bro.
Oh my god!
When me and you jumped off that plane, right before we jumped off, it was only one parachute left.
They did this like Titanic, man. Just took the frozen hand off the raft and just float.
And I said, look
down to the bottom of the sea.
And I said, look, Marcus, I don't care what happens. I'm getting on this parachute with you, brother. I'm getting on this life raft with you. I don't care what you're talking about. We were literally trying so hard to campaign for this brother, man. And
we wasn't trying. We was doing that, and but you know what? That's how you want it to play out. You want to find out and leave no doubt. I say that a lot, man.
Yeah.
Leave no doubt. Leave no doubt who the best player at a particular position is. You don't want no misunderstanding.
That's
and
a good point.
Got it. It just didn't work out for the player that we wanted.
That's a good point. And look, the reality is, regardless of who was right or wrong in the prediction of the Kelee Ringo saga, you said something key. You have to find out what you have.
Got to find that out.
You have to find out. We can have opinions all we want. People are wrong every day of the week. People are right every day of the week. But they owed it to themselves to find out what that player was.
Yeah.
And that's just the player development. That's just trying to understand your personnel. You got to know what you have. You can't let a guy walk and think. In perfect example, Russell Douglas, right? He never really got the fair shake in Philly. He was always in and out of the lineup, but then when he finally got an opportunity, a real one, he balled out for who was that? The Packers, and he got some money from the Bills too. He's been a solid corner. Even remember the kid Kevon Wallace?
Yeah.
He was bad in Philly, but he got a shot in Seattle and he was okay for them. But ultimately, he didn't pan out. So we ultimately found out what Kevon Wallace was. We didn't wait. We threw him out there and found out. Kelee Ringo, there was many times this season, or let's say prior to this season, we didn't have enough to say what he was. We frankly didn't have enough.
Yeah.
This season, we got enough. He cannot play.
Yeah. He for whatever reason. And I, you know what? It was a while back. It had to be about a month ago now. But I went back and I looked at his combine tape. I was like, damn. 6'2" and he ran a 4.3. And he physical. Like, what is the problem? And when you look at it, it is strictly it is a technique thing. And it's like, but you know what? Take that a step further. And this is why you have so many teams that get themselves in trouble about quarterbacks, or technically about any position for that matter. But the quarterbacks obviously is the most visible. But I think a lot of teams is so much ego involved with that's my guy. I know he can play because that's exactly what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've seen glimpses. I know he got it. We just gotta give him the right opportunity, and he had it. And lucky for us, we got an old school coach like Vic Fangio that calls it like he sees it. Because how many times do you have a draft pick or somebody at whatever position, and because they were drafted high, they won't take them off the field? They got to play them. And it's like you playing them at your detriment. And you know it's at your detriment, but you won't pull the trigger and put that free agent in or put that, 1 year guy or the perfect example is I always look at Zach Bond. Zach Bond would have still been in this with the Saints being a special teams player. And he finally came up here, got his opportunity, and he made the most of it. And this is the same Zach Bond that had that talent in New Orleans. How come they didn't see it down there? What was going on that they just totally missed it? That's the stuff that's befuddling to me. I don't necessarily think that they did, but you got two people on the contract in front of you that ain't playing bad,
right?
But you can see, hell, look at what happened with Jahad Campbell and Nakobe Dean. If Jahad Campbell would have continued to start, he would have been in the running for defensive rookie of the year. I believe that. But when Nakobe Dean came back from that crazy knee injury and played like he played, nobody saw that coming. And at least Vic Fangio was smart enough to say, this dude is playing on a whole nother level. This joker is Super Saiyan 4 right now. And it would be stupid to take him off the field. And they didn't. And they sacrificed Jahad Campbell because he's young. And the defense has been better for it. And when Nakobe hurt his shoulder or whatever he did that's kept him out for the last two games.
Tweaked his hamstring.
Yeah. Jahad been in there balling. So that's a great problem to have right now. I hope they can find a way to keep them, keep both of them, to do something, because what Nakobe Dean is doing right now is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. That's why you drafted him when you did. Howie hit it out the park with Nakobe Dean.
I mean, in the past 25 years, school me on this because my memory is bad. In the past 25 years, have the Eagles had this dynamic of a tandem between Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean? Or to take it a step further, have they had this dynamic of a trio of Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, and Jahad Campbell?
I'm trying to remember who Trot played with, because Trot was next level.
He was very
Trot
good.
Doesn't get enough credit for how smart of a linebacker he was.
Yeah, all pro.
Being at the mic. He does not get enough credit for that. And I'm trying to remember who was the other linebackers when Trot was playing. I'm trying to think of other duos, like back when I played. We going back too far, but you're talking about Seth was outside, Willie T was outside, and you had Byron Evans in the middle.
Well, that's why I specified the past 25 years.
Yeah, sometimes B&E and Seth, because Seth could play anywhere. Seth is another one, man. Seth, people don't realize how big Seth is. Seth is 6'4", and Seth can run. But the past 25 years, I'm trying to think, who was our best linebacker duo? And the only name I can think of right now is Trotter.
So I'm looking at the past 25 years right now. In 2000, the linebackers were. So I'm starting in the year 2000.
Okay.
Right?
Alex Singleton.
In 2000, you had Jeremiah Trotter, Carlos Emmons, and Barry Gardner. In 2001, you had Mike Caldwell, Trotter, and Carlos Emmons.
Caldwell was good, but we looking for standouts.
Right. In 2002, they had Sean Barber, Levon Kirkland, Carlos Emmons.
Levon Kirkland was past his prime when we got him. Levon Kirkland was damn near 265 playing Mike linebacker.
In 2003, Nate Wayne, Mark Simoneau, and Carlos Emmons.
I forgot about Simoneau.
2004, Mark Simoneau, Jeremiah Trotter, Donnie Jones. 2005.
Good, but not great.
Donnie Jones, Trotter, Keith Adams.
Dhani Jones did have a pretty good career, but would you consider him a great linebacker?
No, he was serviceable. He was solid.
Yeah, the only name I can think of is Trot.
Right. 06, Dhani Jones, Charter Jr., Matt McCoy. 2007, Chris Gokong, Omar Gaither, Takeo Spikes.
Takeo was past his prime.
He was.
Takeo's best years was in Cincy.
2008, Chris Gokong, Stuart Bradley, Omar Gaither.
Nope.
2009, Akeem Jordan, Jeremiah Trotter, Chris Gokong. 2010, Ernie Sims, Stuart Bradley, Maurice Foku. 2011, Brian Roll, Jamar Chaney, Akeem Jordan.
Nope.
2012, Akeem Jordan, D'Amico Ryans, Michael Kendricks.
Now, D'Amico was good, but again, good, not great.
Right. I think we got D'Amico late.
Yeah.
Kind of 2013. And this when they started playing that 3-4. Connor Barwin, D'Amico Ryans, Michael Kendricks, Trent Cole. 2014, Connor Barwin, Michael Kendricks, Casey Matthews, Trent Cole.
Yeah, we had good linebackers, but nobody great. I think we had a couple of guys that had good years.
Yeah. 2015.
TJ, what's his name? TJ
Edwards.
TJ Edwards.
Edwards. I wanted them to resign to. I wanted them to resign TJ Edwards.
Me too.
I wanted them to resign him because I felt like you developed him. You found him as an undrafted guy. You developed him, and you just let him walk.
Didn't want to pay him. And he's been solid in Chicago.
He has. He's kind of been hurt this year, but he's been very good. He's been a starter for them.
Yep.
But when you think about what they managed to muster now, the Eagles, Zach Bond is so much better than TJ Edwards. It's not even close.
Oh.
It's not even close. And then when Nakobe Dean has shown us when he's been on the football field, I mean, he's just been phenomenal. Just been phenomenal, man. And I don't want to take nothing away from TJ Edwards, but TJ Edwards was kind of running an oatmeal whenever he was going backwards. When he was going forward, he's phenomenal in the run game.
Somebody said Chris Gokong was ass.
Let's go to 2016. Nigel Bradham, Jordan Hicks, Michael Kendricks. Jordan Hicks was actually good when healthy.
Yes.
He was rarely healthy.
But again, good, not great.
2017, Michael Kendricks, Jordan Hicks, Nigel Bradham. Obviously, that's the trio we won the Super Bowl with. Jordan Hicks obviously went down. Michael Kendricks and Nigel Bradham did their thing. Cannot deny what they did that year. That probably was their best year, the way they was playing.
Yeah.
The 2018, Common Gruger Hill, Jordan Hicks, Nigel Bradham. 2019, Common Gruger Hill, Nigel Bradham, Nathan Gary, and this is where it gets hell. Nathan Gary, oh my God. That was hell on earth. 2020, Alex Singleton, TJ Edwards, Duke Riley. Alex Singleton's actually made some money in his league. Playing for the Broncos, so on and so forth. I think Alex Singleton
he's had flashes.
Yeah.
He's had flashes.
Solid. Okay.
He became a solid vet.
Right.
A linebacker.
Right. And then we were just kind of piecemealing it from there. A various combination of Nicholas Morrow, Zach Cunningham, TJ Edwards, Jannard Avery. Yeah, man. Yeah,
that was the lean years, the last 5 seasons.
Yeah. So, I think what Howie has been able to do with this position group, like this position group hasn't looked more promising.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think I'm looking at these guys, and obviously Trotter is the only name that stands out. Trotter and maybe D'Amico Ryans. Those are the only 2 names that stand out. Because D'Amico was on the team for 3 years.
Honestly, I think we saying D'Amico because he's a head coach now.
It's very
D'Amico D'Amico was good, not great.
Yeah,
Trout was great. We all know that.
With Philly specifically, with Philly.
Yeah.
So and he was in Philly for 4 years. He got hurt his 3rd year in Philly, only played 8 games, but in Philly, he didn't make any Pro Bowls or anything, no All Pros or anything. He was okay in Philly. He was okay.
He was decent. He was like a good, not great. So, that's one of them things you had to watch it as it happened in real time because the stats are not going to tell you the whole story.
Of course not. Of course not.
Stats don't lie, but they do deceive. So, You know, we had good linebackers, and in my opinion, the only great one we had was Trot.
Yeah, the one that stands out from an organizational standpoint. A guy
Right.
the Eagles draft Trotter.
I think.
Yeah, they did. Okay, they did draft him. All right, so make sure of that because I know he played for Washington for a little bit. I just want to make sure.
Well, no, he left him with the Washington.
Right. They drafted him in 1998. In the third round.
Remember when he came back to the Eagles and he gave that press conference?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, first thing he said was, I know, I shouldn't have left. He took the bag.
I mean,
that's why I always say when I use the same example with Miles Sanders when he left and went to Carolina. I was like, are you taking the bag or are you going to choose the culture? Because if you take the bag, you ain't going to win. And that's exactly what happened to him when he went to Washington. He took the bag and then realized immediately that was a bad decision. And as soon as he could get back with the Eagles, and he was past his prime and he wanted to finish his last years in Philly, but that kind of stuff matters.
But here's the thing, man. He came back to Philly. When he came back to Philly, he made the Pro Bowl back-to-back seasons. I mean, and he went to the Super Bowl that year.
Never should have left.
No, never should have left. You know, his best years were 01, 02, and then his best years were 2000 and then 2001, then 04, 05. I mean,
right.
Jeremiah Trotter had a really good career, man. 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 1 first team, 1 second team. He had a solid career. Nothing to be ashamed about. So, I mean, look, bottom line is the Eagles are in good shape in the long term when it comes to that linebacker position. Zach Bond isn't showing any signs of slowing down. He's doing that contract. I think Zach Bond is at worst is going to be a second team All-Pro this year. He may be first team All-Pro, especially since Fred Warner was gone all year. Eagles Commanders today. Eagles Commanders. We're all going to be able to watch this game and relax. The Eagles are in the playoffs, and your opponents are either going to be Green Bay, Los Angeles, or San Francisco. And regardless, they got to come to Philly. And
I will take Green Bay first, San Francisco second.
Yeah, simple as that. You know. Any final words? Well, we got super chats real quick. Let's see.
Yeah, I've been displaying them. We just didn't read them.
Right. Shout out to 24 Birds, hitting us back to back. We know how that go, man. Shout out to 24, man. We appreciate you. ASG Marcus with the super chat, man. He said, let's keep it real. We have consistently hit QBs to force mistakes in the playoffs. We force mistakes. We have the number 1 scoring red zone offense. Yeah, man, that's definitely true. We just got to get there, right? William Johnson with the super chat. He said, what's up, fellas? Shout out to whoever coined this term. We'll be just fine if we can maintain aggression and foot on the gas and stay away from Nick Sirianni's prevent offense. That's hilarious. I've never heard of prevent offense before. The Eagles are definitely showing you every bit of prevent offense. Thank you, William. Kakakorski says, Tony and Coach Marcus, who you think gets fired tomorrow? You think we can see 10 head coach opening jobs? Man, it's gonna be a mass exodus. Watch.
Right off the bat, I would say Stefanski in Cleveland. I think Aaron Glenn is going to keep his job with the Jets.
He's got there. There's no way you can find. He just got there. He inherited a lot of that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones.
That coach for the Titans, but they fired him already.
Yeah.
They fired him like the first 4 weeks. I
don't know. We'll see. I can't think of anybody offhand.
Is Jonathan Gannon safe? I don't think so.
No, he's not. He's definitely on the hot seat, but I don't think they're gonna fire him.
Right.
That just lets you know. Being a head coach is not easy. And everybody think that somebody can just come in here and replace Sirianni. And I'm like, the amount of people that don't like Sirianni because of his antics and his personality and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, listen, if he was horrible, he would not be having the success he's having. And people got to come to grips with that.
That part. Because like if
something just happened. The microphone I can't even understand. There we go.
Okay, bet. I'm going to say everything came in clear on my end. Nonetheless, though, if he was as bad as people say, his success wouldn't be what it is. Simple as that.
Right.
And you just can't you can't manufacture that. You can't just find that in the bucket of in the old crate in your basement. You can't just find a guy like that. So
Right.
most of the time people got something to say about him. It's about his personality. And if you can't say nothing tangible about Nick Sirianni as to why he's a bad coach, then I don't really care what you have to say. If it's always about his personality, if it's about his little antics, it's about then at that point now it's personal for you. Rich Tucker says Purdy got hit hard, ended up with a cut finger, but they say he isn't out. But 49ers looked bad last night. Not just cut finger, but a shoulder stinger as well. Darth Panda with the super chat. NFC #1 seed hasn't won the Super Bowl since Philly in 2017. You're absolutely right, big dog. KLS Eagles. He said this Eagles defense is amazing. I wish to give Vic Fangio an award for this season because he got defensive play calling, like playing lights out, going into the playoffs. Anthony Jet the Barbarian says not Gary. I still have nightmares about that 47. And my man, my brother, my guy, Lamar Cotton with the 99-cent donation, man. Lamar, thank you so much for the love, my God. It's my man.
Appreciate it.
My man, it's my family, man. Shout out to him. All right, y'all. That's the show. We normally give you guys predictions. Since no one's really playing, we'll just give you a score prediction. What's your score prediction for this game, Marcus?
My score is, because we're gonna have so much commentary about, well, maybe Tanner McKee might be better than, he can run the offense better. I'm gonna say 27-10.
27-10.
Yes,
it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
27-10. But I think Tank Bigsby is gonna be the guy today.
Yes, I agree with that. So I'll say, man, that's a good score you gave. I'll say 24. I'll say 24 to 9.
Yeah.
24 to 9. All right. On that note, y'all, that's the show. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels. Again, subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports as well. Your Philadelphia Eagles are going to be entering the playoffs either as the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed. You guys know the potential opponents. Either it's going to be Green Bay, either it's going to be San Francisco, or either it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams, y'all. I'm really excited about this, and I think the Eagles are going to go on a run here. And I think the Eagles have been the most slept-on team in the NFC going into the playoffs. And guess what? I ain't even mad about it, y'all. And it's straight like that. He's Markus Thomas. I'm Tony DeShields II. This has been the Bald Eagles Podcast. And we out of here, y'all.
We in the playoffs, y'all. Go Birds.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Moore Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Fly guys in the zone, never let us stray.